I'm about to say something wild, so I need you guys to be prepared. Take a second, breathe. Let's talk about necks.
What?
Okay, I get it. This sounds like a dumb reach for a video, and honestly, if I saw a duck posting a video on YouTube about how to draw necks, I'd be looking sideways at them too. Really. Hear me out. I know most of you are going to look at this and say,
Do you just put two lines under the chin and color it in? What the f else is there? Why are you overcomplicating it?
shut up. It's my channel and I can do what I want. Besides, if you're not part of this enormous group of trusted individuals, then you have no avenue to complain. Leave all the comments you want. You won't even get a quack out of me. Or maybe you will, I might forget. Now, if you really want me to take you seriously, peck that button down there and we'll talk. Drawing necks is no laughing matter. It can get complicated real fast. Like drawing an extra visible, sternocleidomastoid muscle, which I did multiple times. There's over 20 muscles in the neck. I don't even study anatomy like that, but to get this to work, I had to look at a few breakdowns. That's how you learn you drew an overly muscular Z-Viter neck on a 5'3" young lady. And you want me to just do two lines and fill. Okay, you might have a point. Too late though, because I already did the study. So I clearly did this study from before. I'm gonna warn you guys right now. We're not gonna have any of the big frameworks that we usually do for these studies. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. There is no drill. I'm saying it now. There is no drill. Later on, I'm probably going to say something about how I thought about possibly doing the drill. There is no drill. I'm handling this mostly like every other study, at least half of it, which means we're hitting all the marks and adding it into our mass study piece. There isn't too much here to start with, so we're getting straight into the references with this one. You guys know the steps that prelude this, and if you don't, that means you are missing the entire start of this. But what are you doing? Why are you not here? Go on, make your way to the Draw Like a Duck playlist and catch up. Get here. Need to be on the same pace with us. What I really get to do here is showcase the advancement with skin and the subtleties that give life to like a close portrait. Like before, we're using our study method to get the shape and the colors. What I enjoy about this is that we get to use those skills we lightly touched on in the nose study. A nice detail to add is the skin shine. It can be accomplished in many ways here, so, don't be afraid to get that soft round brush or a noise brush back out. And, just mess around with it. See how it does. Another weird detail I like is the way that the line of stretched skin across the neck looks. Apparently just about everyone has it due to the natural function of the neck, all the turning and the twisting and everything, but not many people depict it from what I normally see. Often it's only a few lines, and yet it gives so much variation to the skin. I can't really help but add it in. It just adds that amount of texture. It even gives the opportunity for variable lighting across the entire subject. Sometimes I'm lacking the definition here at the edges, so that will help. They look good, but that thin line to kind of break through the shape is absolutely what I like to see. Side note, I know we skipped over it, but let's talk about, in what my opinion, is the most important part of this: interpretation. Regardless of who you draw, you're going to need to decide how much you put in when interpreting the different features here? Are you going for a more masculine or feminine feature? What aspects of that does your subject even have? Are they muscular? How much muscle is on their frame? Do they have an Adam's apple? How prominent is it? Are their collarbones more or less visible? Do they have more proportionate ratio of fat? All of that. It might sound like I'm overcomplicating it, but from the process of building the framework all the way to the finishing touches of rendering, this stuff matters. Maybe that's why people simplify it a lot. Most of those thoughts go on in the background when drawing, but honestly, I don't blame people for trying to simplify because it's a fundamental aspect of art. The thing that I want to make sure we prevent is making these steps so automatic that we put the same features on everyone. Same face syndrome happens because we learn to do something one way and don't incorporate any variability in our steps. It happens because we become comfortable and complacent. If we can become complacent with something as complex as a face, something unique enough to be used as a security measure for the latest technology, how easy do you think it is to become complacent with things that are simpler? The point of this study was literally to see if I can dig into the aspects of drawing the neck and find new details to play with. You might not see it as necessary, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge you on how you decide to draw. Okay, yes, I will. Not every 12-year-old is Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and not every 80-year-old is Buff Master Roshi. Just because some of us started drawing with Dragon Ball doesn't mean we need to carry it all the way through our art. Yep, I'm dating myself. Well, guys, we are going to continue on with this, but I said it in the beginning. I'm not doing a drill here. It's not going to work out. So I learned a whole lot from the ear study, not just about ears, but about how much I can handle when it comes to, working my way through a study. It taught me a whole lot about what my temperament is. And I just have to say it. If something is too boring to do in a study, I'm not going to do it. There's going to be certain aspects that I do, but when it comes to these videos, I'm probably just going to leave it to the wayside. There just isn't enough variation in a lot of this stuff singularly for me to enjoy it. In the eyes, it made a whole lot of sense. Every pair of eyes could be a different color. They could be different shapes. There's so much you can get from expression when it comes to eyes. Same thing with lips. I felt like lips could tell you a whole lot more than, most things on the face. And even noses give you a little bit of that, hint towards whatever you're looking for. But ears, that killed me. There wasn't much I can do. What am I doing? New earrings every time I draw a pair of ears, or one ear, or whatever? I started doing that and it still got boring. And then necks, there isn't much else. I put a necklace on it, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for the neck itself, to learn that. And so that's why we're not getting a drill. That kind of opens the floor for me to talk about what kind of work I put into these studies. I'll probably do more of a full video breakdown, but just understand that there are two waves of me doing these. Initially, I did all of these studies years ago. This was 2022, 2023 sometime, where I did most of these studies. So the lips, the neck, the eyes, and there are so many more than that I'll talk about in a little bit. But usually I take the footage from those studies that I completed, and then I do a second wave of studies to just make sure that I have a lot of these aspects ingrained. That's how I eventually get to the point where I'm like, okay, I can do the drill now. And the drill is the ultimate test. That's what am I pulling from the mental library? At this point, it is ingrained in the study process. It's just, with things that are boring like ears and necks, it's hard. It's just, my interest wanes off. I have so many things that are exciting to draw. I have so many different projects that I am ready to dive into, that I've started. So many things that are unnamed, so many things that are named that I just haven't revealed yet. I'm not going to waste my time doing something boring for minimal return. Maybe sometime later, maybe when I feel a little bit bored myself and I'm like, well, maybe I can do whatever. I don't know. There's going to have to be a lot to push me past any of the other projects that I have to work on. I would much rather work on something like Christmas in White and Blue, or, some of the other things that I'm planning for next year, or even some of the stuff that's coming in fall. You might hear about that soon. I don't know. But that stuff is way more important. So if I was having issues with drawing these things, that might be a different story. Either way, there's a lot of information that I do need to intake and do need to study. There are things that are going to be much more in-depth and much more expressive that I still need to make my way through, like some of the studies that I started and need to do a second wave of. So back in 2022, 2023, when I started all this, I did studies for a bunch of different things. This stuff isn't secret. It's been on my Instagram forever. I initially did a hand study, arm studies, leg studies, and back studies. I pretty much did everything other than chest and feet. Realistically, it felt more like anybody I was drawing was trying to go somewhere and get service. So I didn't think those things were too important. Although I'm starting to think that maybe I should have done the feet study. That sounds crazy. Those studies exist. I've got footage of them already, but I haven't done the second wave for those. And then of course that means that I have not done the drill for them either. Eventually I'll get to them, and that's where we'll kind of enter our season 2 phase of the studies of the Draw Like a Duck series. I guess that's what I'm gonna call it, season 2. I don't know, season, maybe. Let me just be very clear. The last thing that we're getting a part of season 1 is going to be a hair study. We're gonna round this out to where we can do a full portrait, because that's what's important right now. You guys shouldn't even be worrying about all that. You should probably be worrying about the fall update that's going to be coming soon, because we're almost in fall. I know it feels weird because I just talked about the summer update and now we're already approaching the fall update. Give me a couple weeks, give me a month, I don't know. I know exactly what day it's supposed to be on. I wrote it down somewhere. I just can't remember right now. With that being said, I will see you soon.